Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news and new owner news show. We've got Nuruddin coming on in about 15-20 minutes. We're going to start the video getting into the news. And basically everyone seems to want Manchester United people. Like Liverpool have been on the market for a while. Okay. Man United on the market. Here come the billionaires. I swear everyone fucking wants us. And look. We are the best club in the world. We are amazing. Like, what can we say? You know, I don't blame them. But no, it's actually crazy. Apple could make Manchester United the richest club in the world. Dubai are interested. Beckham's interested. Jim Ratcliffe's interested. American investors are interested. People who want a Chelsea are interested. The whole world is very interested in Manchester United. And, let's make that bigger. That's a bit small. Oh, fuck off, phone. I'm live. It said here from Samuel Luckhurst, the most affluent billionaires in the world have quickly lined up to buy Manchester United. Like, guys, anyone who's got a couple billion just wants United. I'm talking Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Ineos, all like lining up. Like, basically, United have got about loads of clubs in for them. And for Fabrizio Romano, he's aware there's a lot of offers for United. It broke yesterday that Jim Ratcliffe's making a bid. It's broke today that Apple are ready to make a bid. And if Apple is successful, Man United will become the richest club in the world. Big stories happen that Apple have and going to make a massive bid and have a big plan to build a new stadium. There's links with Amazon. And there's links with US investors. Like, it's craziness at the moment. And we're going to get right into that news. So make sure you smash the like button, subscribe down below, share the video. Let me know in the chat. Apple, Dubai, Jim, US investors, Beckham. Who do you want next? Because I tell you what, like I don't think Jim Ratcliffe's going to be getting near here. Because I think there's a lot of people with a lot more money than Jim Ratcliffe that want to buy United. And you know how the price of United was 4 billion and now it's going to 6-7 billion? That's because some wealthy motherfucking people have gone in for United. They want United, and we're going to get right into that. Starting with the Samuel Luckhurst story that the most affluent billionaires in the world have lined up for United. I mean, lots of people lining up. But we want to talk quickly about Apple. There is some news on Saudi Arabia and all of that as well. But Samuel Luckhurst, who is a good journalist, gets information from the club directly. Interesting opinions, but in terms of journalists, could go down as a tier 1 source. Samuel Luckhurst said this, confirmed. Technology giant Apple are understood to be exploring the possible takeover of Manchester United. The Glazer family concerned they were receptive to selling. But this is, first of all, Samuel Luckhurst saying Apple are understood to be exploring the possibility of the takeover. Now, if Apple take over Manchester United, that means we become the richest club in the world. Now, it doesn't mean Apple are going to take over Manchester United, but they are interested. And I know with the Glazers, as a matter of fact, the Glazers sell to the club that gives them the most money, and nobody has more money than Apple. I'll tell you that for a fact. So the first thing Samuel Luckhurst said was that basically he's confirmed Apple are interested in United. This story actually originally came from the Daily Star. I know what you're thinking, the Daily Star. But it was as part of Tim Putt's plan for Manchester United. Apple could be building a brand new state-of-the-art stadium, which I would believe would be called Trafford. But it's being reported that if Apple were to complete the deal, it would make Manchester United the richest club in the world, people. Like, if you don't know how rich Apple are, then if you realize how rich Newcastle are, they're richer. Apple could make United the biggest club in the world. And he also reported that Apple are interested in buying United for a stunning £5.8 billion. So about $6 billion Apple going to go in for United, which is absolutely crazy. We will talk about rumours. Al Hilal to sign Ronaldo. If Apple is serious, then nobody can compete. The Glazers will go for the highest bid and are American. If Apple make us the richest club in the world, bring it on. Hell yeah, says Jason. Basically, I believe there's going to be one of two scenarios that happen. Man United completely sell the club. Now, if we completely sell the club, it goes to the person that bids the highest. And Samuel Luckhurst has confirmed Apple's interest, and he's a very reliable journalist. So I believe it would go to Apple, because who's got the money to compete with Apple? Maybe Dubai, but I don't think they've still got the money to compete with Apple. Scenario 2 is they get some investors in, and the investors are willing to give the Glazer full control and power, and the Glazers stay, and we just get investors in. It's going to be one of those two scenarios. And if it's scenario 1, which I hope it is, and I beg it is, and I pray it is, I believe the next owners would be Apple. I think the Glazers will sell to who has the most money. And as you said, They can't compete with Apple. And at the end of the day, bring it on. Like, I want who's got the most money. I want someone who's just going to splash a shit ton of cash. What would you call it, though? The iPad Stadium? I'd call it Trafford. I think Trafford would be quite a funny name. I don't know. There's something about Trafford I like. I don't know why. I kind of like it. I don't know why. A lot of people saying they want Apple as well. Enough to the American owners, it's all about money for them, not a trophy. But they would be willing to spend money. It's been reported from the Cross Daily Star that if Apple were to buy United, they would include Apple funding the building, which is a brand new state-of-the-art stadium to be regarded best in the world. Apparently, Apple want to buy Man United and build the best stadium in the world. Trafford, whatever they're going to call it. But you know how techie Apple is? Like, imagine Old Trafford all getting techie, all getting done up. Trafford, Old Trafford, whatever it's going to be called. Let's be honest, it would be absolutely insane. And I wouldn't say no to the idea of Trafford as well. If we get Apple, who would we get for the chief? I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. I think, look, right now, loads of people want United. The situation right now is lots and lots of people want to buy United. We're up on the market. Man United, Barcelona, Real Madrid. No one can compete with us. We are the 3 most wanted football teams in the world, and Man United are in the most wanted league in the world, the Premier League. Lots of people want United. Apple, Dubai, about 1 million people from America, 1 million consortiums, Jim Ratcliffe. Everyone wants Manchester United. Only one person or one group of people will end up with Manchester United. These next few weeks will be about teams putting bids in, teams showing interest. These next few weeks will be the process. In a couple of weeks, I think we'll get a strong indication of what's going to happen. Is it the full sale? If so, who's going to be buying the club? Is it investors in? If not, fuck you, Glazers. We don't want you here. We want you gone. You know, this is the whole process. And then in a couple of weeks, when we really start to get a strong indication of who it might be, because yesterday we were getting Dubai, then we were getting Jim Ratcliffe, and now we're getting Apple. We don't know who it's going to be yet, but as soon as we have a strong indication of who it's going to be, and if it goes down to a bidding war and Apple are interested, like Samuel Lucas says, then Apple win that bidding war. We could then discuss, what would their plan be? We know Apple want to build a new stadium. Would John Murta go? Would Richard Arnold go? Who do you buy? Who do you sell? I mean, guys, seriously, if we had got 1 million multi-billionaire owners in, who's your first signing? Let's be honest, who's your first signing in January if we went and got multi-billionaire owners in? As well. And dear Alice, great news. I hope we can get ownership that caves diet, desire and success on and off the pitch. It still seems too good to be true, all this news. It still seems too good to be true. I'm just waiting for the Glazers to announce that they got some American investor in and they're going to have full power and they're not leaving. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just feels too good to be true. I'm waiting for the Glazers to announce something or do something to make me disappointed. Like, everything seems to be going well. Everyone seems to want to buy Manchester United. Man United seems very desirable. Everything is going smoothly. Everything's going perfect. United. Billionaire owners, record-breaking bid, people ready to pump millions and millions into Manchester United. The whole scenario seems to be like, boom, guys, come on, get in there. Then I'm worried it's just going to go kapow and it's going to crash and burn. I'm worried, it's looking good as well. Trafford, MI, Chip Tech. People saying Gakpo and Mbappe and Bellingham they bring in. Liverpool can have the Glazers. We can have Bellingham. I did tweet. You know what? It'd be brilliant if we got new owners before Liverpool and then went and got Bellingham as well. Bellingham and Gakpo would be nice as well. And the Glazers should buy Liverpool after it as well. Innocent Mayor says Apple is serious, but he wants to buy. Yeah, Apple is reportedly very serious about buying Manchester United. And Apple would even promise Manchester United a new state-of-the-art Stadium, Trafford, Apple Stadium. It was said here, as part of Jim Cook's plan for Manchester United, could include Apple funding the building of a new state-of-the-art stadium. And I obviously replied, Trafford, people. Trafford's what it's going to be. And I tell you what, I would like Apple as long as they're smart with their money. You can bring in an absolute multi-millionaire. You could bring in an absolute billionaire. And if they're an absolute idiot with their money, then, you're back to square one. We've got a lot of other news, not just news about Apple buying Manchester United, but a lot of other companies are interested. And this is what I'm saying. It's going to go to whoever's got the most money, realistically, because there's going to be a mass world record bidding war for Manchester United, I believe. It was said by Samuel Lucas that breaking Amanica Ortega, the owner of the Inditex empire that owns fashion chain Zara, is interested in buying United. He's worth 61.3 billion. Jeez, it is understood he has informed senior executives of his interest of United. So not just Apple, not just Amazon, not just Beckham, not just Dubai, lots and lots of people interested in buying United, more than Liverpool already. And I want to actually show you this. So Phil Brown was a guy that said 2-3 months ago that he's confident the Glazers are going to sell from what he's hearing. This guy here was the first guy to really break in summer that he's confident the Glazers are leaving. And he says he's been hearing there's a lot of interest in United. As much as he'd love it to be Ratcliffe, he'd be surprised. He's hearing again there's a lot of interest in United. Fabrizio Romano saying there's a lot of interest in Manchester United. A lot of reliable sources saying there's a lot of interest in Man United, with Dubai potentially up there leading the race, Apple now leading the race, and even Saudi Arabia have shown some interest. And Saudi Arabia would definitely support private bids for Liverpool and Manchester United as well. Now, remember, the Glazers are looking to get a $6 billion world record fee. David Beckham is open with talks about the sale of United, but David Beckham holding talks would be for potential bidders, and David Beckham would have to get people on board as well. And huge finance experts have said that even the $4 to $5 billion price tag for United is too much for a club the size of United. However, that has not stopped multiple bidders coming through. I don't know if you saw that Avram, they're both ugly. I don't know if you saw this, but Avram Glazer was actually getting interviewed about Manchester United and selling Manchester United as well. Leao, a lot of people were saying Leao from Portugal is a good player. Portugal got a cheeky win today, guys. Bruno Fernandes, 2 assists. Apple is worth $2 billion. I mean, what's the richest company in the world? It's got to be Apple, isn't it? A company in the world. If you Google richest company in the world, list of largest companies. I don't know. Let's go revenue. Revenue? I don't know. I mean, Apple's got to be here, surely. I don't know. Apple's surely got to be one of the richest companies in the world. I can't find it. But it's definitely going to be up there. Surely Apple's on here. They're 7th. I'm missing it. Sorry, guys. 7th richest company in the world. 365. There we go. I mean, that is crazy. Apple have got mad amounts of money, obviously based in the United States. There's obviously Walmart and Amazon that have got more money than Apple, but, overall, Apple, number 1 company in the world, Walmart, but Apple are very much up there. Biggest 7 companies in the world, Apple are very much there. Like Man United, if we get Apple, we'd be absolutely minted. We'd have a new stadium. We could afford a lot of brilliant things. Guys, Bruno getting man of the match versus Portugal. Not going to complain in the slightest as well. 24-25, Man U winning the Prem. I'd love it. Sadly, Jim Ratcliffe can't win the race. I have a strong belief that there's no way Jim Ratcliffe's getting near Manchester United as well. And I Trafford with the MI chip tech. It feels like that. I don't think Jim Ratcliffe will get anywhere near United because I don't think Jim Ratcliffe will be able to afford to United. Because, again, can Jim Ratcliffe compete with Apple? Absolutely not. Guys, what's the quality like? Because I'm afraid I think I'm getting a little bit more lag than usual. I think I'm getting a bit more lag than usual. So just let me know what the quality's like. There is reports about Ronaldo going to Al Hilal and all of that as well. But obviously, Apple are exploring the possible takeover of Manchester United. That is confirmed there by Samuel Luckhurst as well. Someone said Apple can F off. We need that Arab money. I mean, like Apple's got the same kind of money as the Arabs. Like they are crazy rich. They're worth like 2 trillion, something like that. Shade said. Absolutely mad about. Now, this is the thing. Like getting new owners in isn't an easy process. Getting new owners in isn't a short process. There's a lot of things that need to happen to get new owners in, but I would love it to have new owners by the January transfer window, and we spend big in January. The thing is, we're getting new owners, which is brilliant. Getting rid of the Glazers is brilliant, but it won't be brilliant if we get new owners in that aren't better than the Glazers, that aren't interested in developing the club. And there's a lot of things that need to happen. We need to get new owners in. We need to get the right new owners in. We need to get new owners in quick because we need investment in January. But we've also got to make sure the new owners are the right people. The new owners could come in and decide they don't like Ten Hag and sack Ten Hag, which for me would be absolutely unbelievable. And that would be probably one of the most angry times as a United fan if Ten Hag mysteriously got sacked. But that could happen as well. I think any new owners with a brain at Man United come in, they sat the board and they keep Ten Hag. Any new owners with a brain do that as well. Like Ten Hag's a fantastic manager, and I've always said this is the time to get new owners in because we've got the manager, we're building the team. The new owners have the fun to build the team, but we also need a new stadium more than ever, and the new owners can do that. And I think this is the time that Manchester United look to expand. This is the time Man United look to get new owners. And this is the time that Man United are doing it. And I think they are using that time very efficiently as well. Beckham rumoured to be in the race for Man United, rumoured to be interested in Man United. Again, with David Beckham, he would be more like, is it LeBron James in basketball, where he's there because he loves the club and he oversees a bit of it, but he's obviously not one of the main investors as well. I don't think David Beckham by himself could afford United. I can't wait for people to tour Old Trafford, the Apple Arena, or I Trafford. I think I Trafford works really well. I Hog, I Trafford, I Rashford. I feel like we'd be saying I before everything. I Captain as well. People say Google be good. They've upgraded that Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is shocking. Oshmeen all day. This is the thing. The thing is, there's people that I don't think Man United will be able to get in January. There's a lot of players like Oshmeen I don't think United will be able to get in January. However, if we put in a ridiculous bid because we've got really rich new owners, then I would think, okay, actually, a deal for someone like Victor Osimhen is very much possible as well. And Man United would be great. Tax right equals off. And I bet Newcastle owners are gutted now. I tell you what, Newcastle owners probably sitting there thinking, oh, we could have waited a year and got Manchester United. Like, they're building something at Newcastle. They're building something brilliant in Newcastle. But I think if they'd have got Manchester United, they would have been a lot happier because they would have, they'd have less to do to begin with in a weird way as well. Beckham can't buy United, isn't that rich? He'd be part of a group of people looking to buy United as well. I'm so tired, so I do apologise for the yawning. But Mr. Randomizer said, João Felix, we could get Mbappe and Bellingham. João Felix, guys, and I will get into some more news in just a second, but João Felix has been reported to be able to go on loan. Basically, reports suggesting that basically Atletico Madrid have realised that João Felix isn't happy and they'll potentially be letting him go out on loan. If João Felix is allowed out on loan, the Man United could be one of the teams to swoop up João Felix. It did look very, very good today for Portugal. I think there's a good player in João Felix. I think he's a little bit overpriced. I think he's a little bit overrated. But would I say no to João Felix? No. Are there players I'd prefer over João Felix? Yes. But would I say no to him? Absolutely not, because he is a good player. And this was obviously the poll. A lot of people saying they want Apple, followed by Dubai, followed by Jim Ratcliffe. And very few of you want American investment, which, surprise, 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 does not shock me. Oh, I'm so tired as well. But this is obviously the news that technology giants Apple are also understood to be involved in a possible takeover of Manchester United. And Rashford or out in that case, we get Mbappe 100%. I mean, a lot of people want Mbappe as well. Alice, Apple aren't buying United, but I wish it was happening. Look, we don't know what's going to happen at the end of the day. There's so many things that can happen. There's so many people interested in Manchester United, and no one knows what's going to happen yet. I don't even know if the Glazers 100% know what's going to happen. I think they have a plan. I think they have an idea of what they want to happen. But I don't think anyone knows 100% what's going to happen. But I've always said, look, things are moving quick. We're being linked to someone very, very good every day. Like, things are moving quick. We are being linked to very rich people every single day. I wouldn't be shocked if any breaking news does come out, to be honest. I wouldn't be totally shocked, if I'll be honest. If some more breaking news comes out, I wouldn't be totally shocked if we went and found some new owners. Like, that's how I feel about the situation. There's big news coming out every day regarding the situation. Big news every single day regarding new owners. Big news about Apple. Big news about this. Big news about that. There's news about US investors. And the one thing I'm worried about, and actually I'm going to get this up on my screen here, this is something I'm worried about because this was said a couple weeks ago. This was said on November 9th. And I don't know if you watched my video yesterday, but this is something I'm worried about, and this is something I want to lay to you guys. I want to be realistic because we might not get new owners or any of that as well. But this was something that was said, and this was said on November 9th. So this was said 2 weeks ago, by the way, just over 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks before the Glazers announced the sale of Man United, British agent Hayden Dodge spoke about United and said there are talks taking place to sell the club with investment companies in the United States. But as usual, everyone involved has been forced to sign a non-disclosure agreement. Now, by the way, this is probably a true report if he's reporting this 2 weeks ago that there are talks taking place to sell the club with investment companies in the US. So, have the Glazers already been talking to Apple? Have the Glazers already been talking to other people in the US? Or are the Glazers talking to US investors to basically see if they can get some money, but actually not have to hand over power and keep United? There's Dubai, there's Jim Ratcliffe. But I wouldn't be surprised if we've been talking to someone in America this whole time, because this tweet was on November 9th. I wouldn't be shocked at all if there was someone they've already got lined up to come in, and then they're going to go public to see if they can get any bigger and better bids, because you know what them owners are like. We all do as well. And Beck says 50 million in the bank. He would be the poster boy if Apple buys it. Yeah, Beckham, no way getting near United. Let's buy Mbappe, Bellingham, Phoenix as soon as we get new owners. Wouldn't that be nice as well? I believe Anthony's not starting for Brazil as well. And fun fact, Apple literally, and I kid you not, have 200 bill in cash, and they have no freaking idea of what to do with it. Apple are just crazy rich, aren't they? And can't wait to see a new Man United era under new owners. At the end of the day, I think we all want one thing, and that is new owners and a new era at Manchester United. I think we can all agree that is what we want. Let's get them gone. Let's get the Glazers gone. And let's hope we get someone else in, because I will be really upset if it's okay. The Glazers are just getting investors in, because the Glazers have been looking to get investors in for a while. Richard Arnold confirmed that to fans, but now the Glazers are seeing the kind of money about. I'm hoping now the Glazers are seeing the kind of money about, the kind of money people offer the club, that they go for a full sale. But there's always potential the Glazers look to get some investors in as well. Keep smashing the likes, people, and of course subscribe down below if you're new. Alice, even if new owners are found by January, expect a massive window. The Glazers will want to add every pound to Man United's value. £1.50 comes sale time, says Rob. And Pastor said new owners must guarantee that United will be second striker in January. I think new owners or not, Man United will have to get in the second striker in January. Fabrizio Romano, Samuel Lucas, again, a lot of reliable journalists have basically been saying that, United have been looking to get people in for a while in January, and now Ronaldo's gone. A lot of sources anyway have suggested that United will be looking to get someone in January. I think that is the plan. There's no way you can let Eric Ten Hag go into the World Cup, after the World Cup, and not get him in someone in January. There's just no way United cannot buy someone in January. I wouldn't put it past them. But this is what I mean. This was obviously tweeted by United Muppeteers, and they said they've been looking at this for months. In summer, Richard Arnold remember this, in summer when Richard Arnold went to the pub and sat down with fans, he told fans they need investment to renovate the stadium, the training ground, and more, and they were struggling to get it. Interest high, debt unattainable, huge COVID losses. So this is, for me, is they've been looking for investment for a while. They're not getting that investment because they want to have full power, but someone to give them a load of money, which they can't see happening. And they looked at the money available in the market, and I believe they're looking at a full sale, whether it's US, whether it's Dubai, whether it's someone, or whether someone comes in and gives an investment and lets the Glazers stay. We'll obviously have to wait and see as well. Some Danish Old Trafford is iconic, and a full sale. Jacob Benz came on the Football Terrace and said it today. I mean, I hope it's the full sale, and I think we all hope that the full sale is what we want, because it's Apple. There seems to be about 100 companies wanting United, but you just never know. They've been looking for investors for a while. I think Joel, greedy bald man, I think Joel would want to keep United and get investors in. But Nuruddin has joined the chat, so I'm just going to introduce him, people. Hello, how are you doing?
How you doing, Alice? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling good about the news at the moment, but I'm trying not to get too excited, because I just know we'll all get excited and then, no, they're not going.
That's the worst nightmare. That's the absolute nightmare in all of us, isn't it? Because we know their dirty tricks in it. We've been here before, in it. We've seen what the length that they will go to. We do not trust any of them or the PR machine that they've got around them. And it's, obviously we heard it's not new. We've been hearing rumors since, the end of the, Super League, when the Super League didn't happen. They were banking on that. We've known that in the past 10 years that other than just a couple of stripes of liquor paint, they've not really done anything in terms of the stadium or the training ground. So this was always, they've rinsed the club as much as they can. They've we're in debt at the moment. Most people are forgetting that. We're not just in debt, but we've only made maybe I think it was about 60 million or you would say all around maybe 100 million in terms of profit. And we used to make sometimes like 600 and 700 and 800. At the height, Man United making 800 million of profit. So For me, I'm not. I'm always on giddy watch. You know me. I'm always like, we can't get anybody be getting giddy because the way they worded it, it's like they can just have a get out clause. Do you know what I mean? It's never straightforward.
It's not guaranteed the full sale. For me, there's a lot of good journalists saying they prefer a full sale, and I do think with Chelsea having a lot of buyers, Liverpool sort of going public, and I think with them losing money, and in the Premier League right now, it's more competitive than ever. You've got to spend more and more money to keep up in the Prem. Old Trafford's going to cost a lot of money. That needs to be done. And I'm hoping they're coming to the realization of shit, like we're not profiting from Man United like we used to. If we want to profit from United, we've got to spend money. We've got to do Old Trafford. I'm hoping they're coming to the realization that actually owning Man United might not benefit them as much as they think anymore. And maybe with all the money in the market, it's the right time to sell, hopefully.
Yeah, they've basically rinsed everything out of this football club, haven't they? To be fair to them, and like you said, they don't have the stadium. They don't even have the training ground money. I doubt it that I'm really suspicious about Apple and Facebook and Amazon. I think all of that PR stuff. I think the Dubai lot are serious. I think Ratcliffe as part of a consortium might be serious. And apparently there's another American group. They're the three serious people that. But of course, like Chelsea, you had about 200 different kind of people try to buy Chelsea. 200 different groups or consortiums. It's crazy, isn't it? Like 200, and it was all a quick sale because of the political situation with their former owner and everything. So it had to be done very quickly. But I can't see it. I was saying, as soon as Liverpool became apparent that Liverpool owners were willing to sell, I basically was like, whoa, to me, that showed me then, okay, if Liverpool gets sold by oil state billionaires, right? Oil state billionaire. And then that would mean City, Liverpool, Newcastle. And that would mean United, Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea fighting for 4. One place, 4 teams. So I was hoping, I actually did a whole show looking at the Liverpool sale on my show because I was like, surely if Liverpool are selling, that means it's the end of it's officially now, the Super League's dead. We've heard the rumors about Super League coming back and that Real Madrid, Juventus, and they're all holding on, saying that it's going to be done. There is in December, there is a meeting by UEFA, and that's going to be what people are expecting is the absolute nail in the coffin of what Super League would have been. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen by external law. And that's why I think you're getting this Apple, Netflix, apparently as well, Amazon, Facebook, Man United Meta. I'm getting all the stupid memes and jokes people are sending me. You know what I mean? A lot of people are saying, Inshallah, Inshallah. That's the new song, Inshallah, Inshallah, Man United. Inshallah. And Inshallah means just in Arabic and in original means God willing. God willing, that's what it means. So there's a couple of voice notes going around as well and on social media. But it's interesting for me to think about who can afford us. Whoever wants to buy Man United, they can't come in and think, oh, we can't compete. They have to think about building a new stadium or significantly doing a massive refurb that may take the Old Trafford Stadium into 90-seat or 100-seater, right? And then the training ground needs to be expanded and all new infrastructure needs to be put in. So all of these different things, it's not just about buying Man United and money and the greedy sods in it. Apparently they want, that's why this Rene group are the group that were put in charge of Chelsea, who were the people that were sounding out potential buyers. So there's a similar, Liverpool went to a similar group as well, that the FSG, that to try to find potential buyers. And both FSG and the Glazers want bidders, and they want to go for the highest bidders, but they bought the club 500 million that they never spent, and they put up another 500 debt on us, right? So it makes me feel so sick, Alice. It makes me literally feel horrible that these vultures could make 6 billion to 7 billion. And I'm like, where do you get billion from? We've not been successful for the past 10 years. We've won a Europa League and an FA Cup and a League Cup in 10 years. How are we for 6 billion?
It's crazy. It's the thing is, Man United, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they're the three clubs that I think everyone wants. And then Man United have the bonus of being in the Premier League because right now it is just so much bigger than any other league. The Saudis went for Newcastle Premier League side. They could have gone for a better club in it, but a lot of people going to the Premier League. It's the league where it wants to be. And I think as you made kind of a point, FSG kind of wanting to sell, Liverpool wanting to sell, Glazers wanting to sell. I think that confirms the end of the Super League. I think they were maybe clinging on to see if that Super League was going to happen. And now that Super League's not going to happen, Liverpool, our owners and Liverpool's owners similar in that sense of like, okay, like Super League's not going to happen. Maybe it's time to get out of here. And I think, there's a couple of people going, oh, it's Ronaldo, but we know this has been happening for a while. We know they've been looking at investors for a while. This is a report from 4th of September on my screen. Like this was the 4th of September. We were being linked to Dubai. There was reports of Jim Ratcliffe obviously back in August. I think there was even reports that United were looking for investors back in July from like Laurie Whitwell. Yeah. And then we've had the odd report. There was a thing, I did a video 2 weeks ago. I did a live stream saying Man United secret. It was titled like Man United Glazers planning on secretly selling Man United because there was this big report that came out from Hayden Croft that said United is secretly dealing with investors over the sale 2 weeks ago, and he said they were dealing with US investors. So for me, as you said, I think the three big names are maybe US investors and potentially Dubai. I think, while Apple would be brilliant, they would make us the richest club in the world. I think, it's and some decent giants have linked Apple's interest to United. They've just come in now. I think the Glazers have been talking to Dubai and some US investors for a while because I don't think they'd have gone public if they weren't confident of a sale or something happening either. I think that they've probably been in negotiations with people for a while. They've been looking for things to happen for a while. And I think they've gone, this is the time to go public because Liverpool have gone public. We don't want to miss out on a better offer to them. The Super League's not going to happen. And potentially Ronaldo leaving might have motivated them to go public on that specific day to maybe get the stocks up without it being stock fraud. But we know they've been looking at it for a while.
100%. I mean, I remember in May, there were rumors. Remember when Twitter was going crazy in May? You remember? Big up Phil Malachi, Malachi based in Miami. He was talking and he was like, and he's a diehard United fan, you know what I mean? He was like, I'm not clickbaiting people. He does a really good podcast on Spotify, and sometimes he uploads it onto his Twitter. And he was basically saying, I've had it on good record, people that I really trust. And he was mocked. People were mocking him, and I was like, that's unlike Phil to come out, Malachi, to come out and say something like that. Even though, like, he's Glazers out, and obviously, like, every United fan should be anyway. But, so that was really interesting in terms of the rumors were circulating for a long, long time. And that's what I was saying. It's not new news to us, but because we don't trust this football club, and we don't trust it. So they sacked Ronaldo, so they should have rightly sacked him. Then they then on the next day, the next couple of hours, say that we're looking for new investment. And also, do you remember the Saudi guy the people who own Newcastle now? He did an interview about a month and a half ago, nearly 2 months ago, and he came out and he said, the Glazers were looking for 700 million for 30% of Class A shares. Class B shares are the ones who got the voting rights. Yeah, most of the Glazers own the Class B shares. And he said they wanted us to buy Class A shares for 30% shares for 700 million to be a silent co-owner of Man United, and that we were going to get no say in the matter. So that to me told me, because we were all talking about it, all of us, majority of us who researched this, so we're talking about saying that they haven't got the money for the stadium, they haven't got money for the training ground, something's got to give. And then that financial figures came out from last year, towards the end, it came out, and they were like, they've got even 60 million or 50 million cash. Like, all of the transfer money we borrow from other banks. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, a contract is paid over the length of the deal signed by the player. That's what Glazonomics is. That's why they never want to get rid of players, because they're like, wow, they buy the contract in terms of a balance sheet. That's what Glazonomics is. They don't look at the actual one. They look at the length of the contract. Yeah. And they have something called book value, which is weird. Like, it's all banking financial terms. that you can't apply to football clubs. You can't apply to football because you can't move on. Look how many people we got rid of this summer. Pereira. Who else did we get rid of? Did we get any money for? We've loaned other players out. We can't sell players. Majority of the players who left last season left on a free.
Yeah. I think we only had 1 or 2 sales. We couldn't get rid of Wan-Bissaka, Tellez, or Bailly, and he wants to get rid of them. Still, Jones is still here that I just can't go over. Like,
have you seen the memes? There's some memes on social media. It's Phil Jones Consortium that's buying Man United. He's been there that long. They give him the keys.
How is it? He's going to outlive the Glazers at Man United. Honestly, I mean, he's just crazy. What I think is just, I'm hoping is going to happen is, as you sort of mentioned, the Saudis, Man United. I think what Joel Glazer wants is to have full control of United and someone give him a load of money for Class A shares as you want. I said, that's what Joel Glazer wants. But I think people are more likely to want to completely buy the club than do that, because why would you give him 700 million to have no say? And I think they've gone public to hope that they can get someone come in and say, look, I want United. I'll give you the investment at United, but you can have full power. But I think they might have come to the realization that, the money that, the amount of offers Chelsea had, the amount, Liverpool going public, they don't want to lose out on the best buy to Liverpool now. The Super League not happening, they've been looking at investors for a while and they haven't found one. I'm hoping they're coming to the realization that the full sale is the best thing for them. But also, there was a video I did on my channel, probably back in September, and there was this report from Mike Keegan that the Glazer family and the board had held this big meeting, and that the majority of them are ready to sell United. He said the majority of them want gone, they want out. Joel was the one that was like, I don't know. But
it was Joel and Abraham. It was Joel and Abraham, the two that were like, no, we don't want to sell.
And the others were getting fed up. This was at the same time, everyone was bombarding the website with bad reviews and all of that. And I think a lot of people in the Glazer family and the board were just getting fed up. Like, we don't support this club. It's given us too much hassle. We're not making as much money off it. We've got to spend more money. The stadium needs doing. We can't find investors. It's all a bit of a faff. Look how much money Chelsea could get. Like, I'm hoping they're finally using some logic and going, this is time to sell, because I actually think this is probably the time they could get the most money. And I think it was maybe Mike Keegan or someone that said that he had heard from sources very close to the Glazers. And again, this was said in August and September. Yeah. Because the Glazers don't have an emotional attachment to Manchester United, if they got an offer that made sense from a business perspective, if they got an offer over a certain amount, they could not say no to the sale, because it's all about business to them. And I think right now is someone going to give them the offer that they want?
I think this is it. I think what it comes down to is that, the campaign that was done, you remember, some United fans were targeting the Glazer children, the Glazers, the Glazers, their children, and they were targeting them on Instagram and everywhere. And you also noticed that a couple of days ago when TeamViewer, and the summer TeamViewer came out, remember, we absolutely bombarded TeamViewer. There was 100 of us on Twitter. Remember, not a penny more. We absolutely bombed. Every day I was sending an email. Every day. You must dissociate yourself from the Glazer family. Look what they're doing to the fan base. Look what they're doing to the such a brilliant brand. I was bigging them up in my emails, saying, we know what you stand for, the values of your product, how many countries around the world. I told them about the fan base. I was like, come on, guys, you don't want to be. And every time their CEO or one of the people I work, every time tweeted, we all tick. This is how mad it is, Alice. We all basically favored TeamViewer. We all follow TeamViewer. We all tick all notifications. So anytime they would tweet, we would be straight away on their Glazers out. And then he replied to one. Remember, CEO replied, and he was like, stop hassling us. This is after we've done the campaign that we did not a penny more, where we basically drove down the Google scores of all of the 15 or 19 prominent United supporters, the sponsors. And what we did was we would go to the website, pretend to buy something, especially the kits and stuff, from the kit Adidas. We would then check out See you later. That would drive the Google score down. But then companies then all got, there's about 16 companies all complained to Google. Then they got onto us, didn't they? So what they did was, instead, they were like seeing us as a spam. So they would just report us as a spam. And then that means their Google Drive wasn't going down. So we were doing all sorts of things. And people also forget. Do you remember, not last season, 2 seasons ago in the summer, they wanted, there was a Manchester-based company that wanted to sponsor the training kit. Do you remember? We did a huge campaign on social media to say, no, you cannot sponsor Man United. They're toxic. The Glazers are vultures. We did all of that. They stepped away. But 2.5 days ago, in the summer, TeamViewer said, okay, we're not going to be renewing Man United. We're not going to be renewing Man United after the contract runs out. We're not going to be renewing the sponsor. And they've got the biggest, most visible sponsor there is. You know what I mean? It's right across the chest. That's the main sponsor. A couple of days ago, they came out and said, rumors, people were like circular social media, rumors that TeamViewer wants out now. They want to pay Man United off to break the contract. Yeah. And I was thinking, whoa, there's something's going on here. There's something going on here. But again, we're not getting overexcited, because if you see the club statement, it says we're looking for investment. We're doing a due diligence, using corporate words like we're looking around. We're looking for investment. We're open, so that they can just have somebody who's foolish enough to give them 2 billion, and then they just give them Class A drugs who've got 0 voting thing. So it's gonna be interesting. Alice, who do you want? Who would you like?
I feel like right now, I think, Jim Ratcliffe, I don't think has the money to get us to the top. And I'd probably go with like Dubai, if I'm being honest. I just want whoever's just going to make us like Man City, essentially. What about you?
This is the thing, innit? It's like the Dubai lot, the Saudis, the Bahrain, they're all bombing people. Yemen, Yemeni children are starving. I'm more slightly political in the sense that I know what's going on geopolitically in the world. And I'm basically heartbroken in terms of like, football has changed. It's totally changed. Qataris, PSG, Liverpool could be bought by another Qatari company, right?
Yeah.
So I would want somebody who's got enough money to be able to compete with Liverpool, Man City, you know what I mean, Newcastle, PSG, because that's where it's going. We can't make the rules. We can't have any say of this. But the only thing that I want is that Man United have to have a fan representative that gets voted in every 2 years. So they must set up a system all across all social media, so it's not other fans who are voting in. Man United supporters have to register fans, so no other fans are allowed to vote, basically.
Yeah. And
then we vote for a representative for every 2 years to sit on the board. That has the fans' best instincts at heart, regardless who are buying us. Because in a way, the human rights stuff, I look at like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, I look at Dubai. All the economically, we're tied. If you look at London, they own massive, like they got massive shares in the biggest companies in Britain. They got massive portfolio real estate, right? So it's like, is there a moral, ethical billionaire? Is there one out there? Is there? So. Is anybody innocent? Is any country innocent? Look what Britain did to Iraq and Afghanistan, and what happened in Syria and the Middle East. You know what I mean? Like, who could say? You know what I mean? Who could say? Like, who's moral or what government? It's not nothing against the people. It's the governments, isn't it? Which government is moral and ethical? Is there one in the world?
No. It's like whoever you get and wherever they're from, there's going to be some kind of like negative or issue behind it. But I'm at the point where we've had the Glazers for 17 years. We've had these awful rats in charge for so long. So I'm at the point where nobody is perfect. There's obviously people that are better than other people. But I'm at the point where we've just had the Glazers for too long. Man City are lifting titles and forgot to see Liverpool lift the title, Newcastle in the game. I'm at the point now where, all these other clubs have got these Arab owners in and all of that. I'm at the point where I don't care who we get, as long as it's someone whose priority is getting Man United back to the top and has the money to do that. That is what I want. It's about, you know, I'll take anyone over the Glazers at this rate because they've just been awful. But if there's an option, I don't want someone that's just another Glazers or a bit like Arsenal's owners. I want someone that's like Man City's owners or someone with some real ambition.
Exactly, as somebody, and you know that, especially in the Middle East, I know that part of the world because culturally, I've got ties to that part of the world, and they are obsessed about football. I don't know any hedge funds in the US are obsessed. You see Joe Glazer, he's always talking about their Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's never asked about Man United. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So I don't want another hedge fund, vultures. So we leave the Glazers go, and then we bought by another hedge fund vultures who just want to rinse every penny out of Man United. I don't want that. The suspicion that I have, if they do sell, they might sell to some of their friends who are also vultures. So they owe us for a year or 2 years, and then they want to sell on to somebody else. You know what I mean? I just don't want us to be like that. I don't. The best possible scenario would be me personally, Jim Ratcliffe, backed by billionaires from the Middle East.
Yeah, that would be that would be the ideal one. Someone that, because he supports United and knows the club. Like the Glazers didn't know the offside rule. He started going. Cristiano Ronaldo joined us when he was 16. He was 18. They're actually so clueless about football. Like they know nothing, and like, you know, they'll come to like one game every couple of years, and they probably don't even know what goal we're scoring in. I feel like when they watch United, and it's like we need someone first of all that actually gives a fuck about football. Like someone that is like, you know what, I want United to do well. I like football, and someone that's passionate. And we know we get that with Jim Ratcliffe. We know all the Middle Eastern owners seem to be very good at their jobs. Someone that cares. And, you know, I think, you know, after 17 years, we deserve someone that cares. If you want to, you know, rinse a club, please go and buy Liverpool. If you want to make a club great, please buy United. And my biggest fear is we sell and we get shit owners, and Liverpool go and get good owners. And I could not deal with that. I want us to get really good owners in, so Liverpool still have their owners, and then I want us, like, he wasn't even one of my transfer targets, but it's purely because Liverpool want him, and I want us to just go and sign Jude Bellingham if we get new owners just to annoy Liverpool. Like
100%. It's the biggest thing for me. 100% agree with you. We've been, Alice, I'm fortunate enough, I'm privileged enough. I live 12 minutes away from the stadium. I cycle there. Everybody's there in traffic. I cycle there, right? So I'm privileged in that sense for all the millions, you know, nearly 1.5 billion fans around the world. In 17 years, Alice, I've not bought a shirt. Can you imagine that? I have not bought a shirt. And every time you support with United, you do it with a heavy heart. You do it with a heavy heart because you know that regardless whatever happens, how successful we've been, we're owned by vultures who don't care about our football club, who don't ever care anything to do with the football club. Like the next owners have to live in Manchester. They have to live in Manchester. I don't want them to. I want them to be bought into the country so they live in Manchester, so they can see. So when they see United fans speaking to them and letting them know what's happening at the football club, do you understand what I'm saying to you? Instead, those cowards go and hide out in Miami.
I know.
You know, one of the biggest football clubs in the world, one of the most prestigious football clubs in the history of sport, and go and hide out in Miami like cowards. So for me, honestly, the day they go, I've told everybody, we're having a party in Manchester and everybody's invited. Everybody's invited. When they go, we're having a party. For me, I've gone, I'm not a hateful person by nature. But Alice, I promise you, I despise them. I hate them. I can't say how much I hate them because what they've done. Our decline, Alice, is not, you're younger than me, but our decline is not natural. It's not natural. We were at the height of Man United, we were winning league back to back. And then Fergie would come out with, oh, there's no value in the market. We sold Ronaldo, Alice. We bought Owen on a free, Overton for about $1 million something, and we bought Antonio Valencia. We've just done the biggest transfer in world football.
Yeah.
That broke all records. Ronaldo, 80 billion. And you know what? Guess what they said they needed that money for? To pay down the debt. Absolute BS. They went into their coffers. And that's what I'm saying to you. So when I try to tell people, I knew something was changing, Alice, because when I've been to the stadium, I noticed that they're taking the banners down. They even check the fans. Like, you know, at the height of the green and gold, It's when we were winning 3 titles back to back. You saw the famous photo. I don't know how old you were where Beckham picked up the
I'd have been about 8, 9.
Glazers out scarf, yeah. In that, if you look at photos, if any of you Google it, you can see Alice all over the stadium, blasted scarves, massive banners saying "Hate Glazers, Love United." That's where it came from. Green and gold to the club sold, right? And green and gold, people, was the Newton Heath Railway Club. That's our heritage. Heritage is just East Manchester. This is where Man United came from. Rail workers. It was a football club set up by rail workers, and that's where the green and gold is. And everybody has to laugh. Oh, you support in Norwich, yeah. Like, we were a football club before Norwich as a city even existed, right? So don't give me any of that. But honestly, 17 years since they owned us, I've never been in a shop. Never. I was at the first protest. And honestly, Alice, check it on YouTube, right? On YouTube, it was a huge riot. There had to be police arm escorted out of Old Trafford. That's the only time they all came to Old Trafford the day they bought the club. They gave an interview to MUTV, and then it was riots outside. Absolute pandemonium outside. With massive fires. They had to be, in the Munich tunnel. You've been to Old Trafford, the Munich tunnel.
Yeah.
They had to come to the Munich tunnel and sped away out there with a heavy police presence taking them out of the stadium.
They should never have even been allowed to buy the club. It's
I blamed it on Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, Alice. Honestly, I blamed it on them. No other European team would ever have allowed for the takeover like that. Nobody.
I think if it was a London club as well, they would have been more funny about it. But they didn't care. And as I look back at it and I hear about it, I'm like, one, they should have never even been allowed to buy the club. 2, they've made the club rot. And even under Fergie, as you said, he had some awful, shocking transfer windows where I'm thinking, Ferguson, if you look at, the team we won our last Premier League with in 2013, he got every last inch out of some of those players because they were crap the following season. He had Anderson, Cleverly, he won the league. And I just think the state of that team he won the league with, Fergie was a miracle worker. And I think they realised when he left, oh my God, he's a miracle worker. I think you're on mute.
Remember that season? And I remember thinking, how is Fergie getting these performances? Of course, we bought Van Persie, innit? Van Persie. I'll never forget that press conference, Van Persie, when he's like, yeah, the little boy inside me says, Man United, And he came, and I just remember Van Persie just last-minute winners. And Cleverly. So I remember the players, Cleverly. Some of these players, he was just rinsing everybody. But for me, Fergie did a cover for them, Alice. The top 8, 9 teams in Europe hoarding all the best players. Fergie kept saying, there's no value in the market. What are you talking about? There are players who want to come to Man United. And in terms of the Glazers not understanding football, I have it on really good source, Alice, that when some of the family came, one time at Old Trafford, the team scored against us and 2 of them started cheering because they thought we scored. They didn't even know what colour shirt we wore.
Oh my God. They just don't care. I mean, they need to go. I think we all agree on that. And we've all got our hope they go. And it's looking positive, but we can't obviously get too excited, especially with them. We got told from good journalists, when De Jong's wage situation sorted, he comes. We get told Sancho 99%, De Jong 99%. We'll be getting told Glazer 99% sale, and then, oh wait, they're not selling. So it's looking good, but we can't get excited. But I'm going to give you a sort of a last question here. If let's say we get massive owners in and they manage to come before January, what are you doing in the January transfer window? And then what would you do in the summer?
We need a striker, 100%, whether we get a buyer or not. But if he moves that quick, I think the way they've done it, they're not in a rush. But if it was to say a miracle and he moves that quick, then anybody's oyster, Alice. Anybody.
Yeah.
You need a striker. For me, I think the striker that I look at that has amazing things about him is Benjamin Sesko. I know a lot of people feel like Mbappe. Mbappe is a prima donna, honestly. He's a prima donna. See the way he's acting. I want players who want to play for Man United. And I think Benjamin Sesko, for me, I think maybe if we can turn Bellingham, if Man United get big owners, to me, the bankers would have to go. They have to clear out the whole lot, expand the training ground, get facilities in, and then plan on about building a new stadium. Would you prefer to see a new stadium, or would you like to refurb? I think a new stadium. I think we need a state of the art. I look at Spurs, when I watch Spurs games, and I think, oh my God, look at that stadium.
I've been to Spurs a few times, and I've been to Old Trafford a few times. And you go in Tottenham, especially the new stadium, but I'm like, I love Old Trafford, the feeling, but I'm like, this Spurs stadium is a million times nicer. Like everything about it. As soon as you walk in, I go in Old Trafford, I've seen leaks.
Yeah, it still leaks internally. You know what? Internally, it leaks. That's why we always tell fans, please put it on social media. Put it on social media when you see any leaks, all around the concourse, inside the stadium, like before you go and see. Unless I'm 6'4", to go and sit down unless I'm in a Stretford end, I come out of games with my knees being sore because you know how tight the seats are close to me. Like it's hard for me to sit down. I have to always try to find when I'm sitting on the edge. I like going to Stretford end or the standing section on the other side near the east stand.
Yeah.
But it's one of those. To me, whether Glazers sell by January, from everything that I've been reading, the proper sale could happen till the end of the season. March, February, looking at the bidders, bringing it down to 3, and then selling it to whatever. They're going to do it the highest bidder. They're going to do it to the highest bidder. Whoever's going to offer the most money. But if they would do it in January, then we need another midfielder. So Jude Bellingham for me. Like Frankie de Jong, he doesn't want to come to us. We shouldn't be begging players. And especially if we get bought up by people who got a lot of money. We shouldn't be begging players. You want to have to come to Man United and play for Man United. But as a striker, I would give the 45 million to the Red Bull. They always sell, Alice. They always sell Red Bull. Regardless it's January or not, they always sell. So give them the money. Get Benjamin Sesko.
He's
hold the ball up. Hold the ball up for us. I don't think some people like Osimhen, but I can't imagine Osimhen leaving Napoli to go and play in the Europa League. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Osimhen's someone in the summer I'd probably go for because I think January's just not realistic. And I think the problem is in January, Vlahovic, Osimhen, like the people want, like you just know that no way is Napoli and Juventus selling in January. So I think Sesko is the most realistic. I do like Gakpo, but he is a winger. He's not an out-and-out striker. I think he's someone that can get us through to the summer. I think for me, striker's number one priority. And then I think a ball-carrying midfielder. I mean, I'd love De Jong, but as you said, he doesn't want it. So Bellingham, that kind of midfielder. We need a backup right back. And I also think we need a bit of depth in Bruno's role as well, whether we go, because he's not seeming to play Eriksen ever as a 10, so whether you go for a James Maddison or just someone a bit cheaper, because if Bruno gets injured, we just don't seem to have anyone that can do that role. Like I like Donny, but he's a ghost in that role. I think Donny, in my opinion, his best game's always been deeper. I think, we need depth in areas, maybe a more modern goalkeeper to change the way we play long term. But again, I know a lot of people are desperate for De Gea to go. I just think there's 3-4 positions that need to be addressed first, but I can understand long term De Gea going. But striker, just 100% midfield, then back up in areas, I think. But it's difficult because there's not many strikers in January available. And I think Sesko's a good one. The question is he ready for the Premier League? But then you look at Garnacho coming on at 18 and he's having an impact. I think sometimes you can be ready at any age. And I think one thing I will say is with Ten Hag, I'm confident we've got a manager that if we sign a young player in, he'll get the best out of them. Like if you look at all our signings so far, all been good. Lisandro Martinez has been excellent. He's a Ten Hag signing. Eriksen's had mostly good games, Ten Hag signing. Casemiro's a rock. Anthony, when he's played, has been good. Malacia's, done well. And Luke Shaw's now playing like, Luke Shaw's back just before a tournament, classic Shaw. But all our signings have been good. But I also know that Erik ten Hag has such a good record for developing young players that I think if we got Benjamin Sesko, I'd be so confident that he would be the right signing. Whereas in the past, when we signed someone under Ollie, you think, oh, they're a flop. But with Ten Hag, I'm like, this is the guy that could make Sesko as well.
Honestly, yeah. I agree with you totally. Like, totally agree with you. I think, to me, the midfield is one of the biggest problems for us. I think a right back, if, let's just say miracle news happen and we get sold in time for January, a right back, another midfield player, and a striker would do. To me, I think with those 3 quality players, 3 in reinforcement, I think we might be able to push for 4th. You know what I mean? And then continue in the Europa League as well. Because I think without 3 players, I think we might not have the depth to continue, especially now that Ronaldo's gone. So it's going to be very interesting. But what would I'm just thinking in the Glazers, if they really want to sell, you would boost it up, wouldn't you? Selling the club that's in the Champions League, you get more money for that, don't you? You know what I mean? You can ask for more money.
Romano is saying that United are desperate for a striker in January, so
we have to though, because we can't rely on Martial. We can't.
Oh, we're down to the bare bones.
Yeah, we're down to the bare bones. We're down to the bare. Even I said it in the summer, honestly, Alice. We need to buy a player in that game, definitely. Big up. Big up everybody. Make sure you subscribe to Alice Talks Football, man. Big up Alice. Always one of my favorite channels on YouTube, honestly. I watch your channel the most. Like, I don't always reply, I'm out and about, but I listen to you every time you're live. One of my favorite channels because you're so good through all the, you know what I mean?
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that as well. And make sure you check out Nuruddin's channel and socials. Do you want to tell them where they can find you?
Yeah, they can find me at United Real Therapy and then Mr. Structure on Twitter. But yeah, it's United Real Therapy. And I'm going to be going live tonight at 10 o'clock. We're going to be looking at the potential buyers, breaking it down, actually. And then always going to do the bit of the World Cup roundup as well. But thank you so much, Alice. Good to see you.
Go check out Nuruddin. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and we'll be back tomorrow. See ya.